This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
You know, people grieve in different ways. They react in different ways to big tragedies. And I'm not one to criticize a grieving family, but, big but here, I have to say I'm really disappointed in the family of Didarul Islam, the NYPD officer, 36-year-old father of two with an 8-month pregnant wife, widow. They're about to begin his funeral in New York, and it's going to be just an amazing sight. The NYPD knows how to do this. They do it well. It's going to be breathtaking, this ceremony. But there's a flaw here. It is a stain here. And his name is Zoran Mamdani. He will be at the funeral at the invitation of the family of Officer Islam. That is really disappointed. Again, they're grieving, their heads are spinning, their lives are turned upside down. So it's hard to blame them for anything. But they allowed this lowlife into the wake, or whatever they call it, the ceremony yesterday. They greeted him with hugs and they welcomed him to join the ceremony today. This is a man who hates the NYPD, who has repeatedly, over and over again, said defund the NYPD. He wants to defund the SWAT team still, which was the first unit, the first people on the scene at the shooting at 345 Park Avenue the other day. He wants them disbanded, the elite unit in the NYPD. And he's running from his comments, of course. That's what Democrats do. They say defund the police when it's stylish, when it's in vogue, when they're throwing red meat to their crazy base. He would not double down on that yesterday. He said he was thankful for the armed guards he has now. The NYPD has afforded him armed guards, and he wants to defund the police and take away the guns from you. Guns are good for him. Guns are good to protect him, this socialist Ugandan who's been a citizen of this country for about 10 minutes. He wants to tell you, he wants to take away your constitutional rights. Yes, a guy from Uganda who's only been a citizen for, I believe, 7 years. Now he's going to be mayor of New York City, and his base is going to pressure him hard to fulfill these promises, to do indeed disband, to defund, to continue to slander the NYPD, which he's called anti-queer and racist, a police force of about 35,000, which is majority minority, which has many, many Black officers, Hispanic officers. He does not care. He is a servant of the far, far fringe left. He is a communist, and he will be pretending today that he's heartbroken, that he's mourning the loss of one of these anti-queer fascists who worked for the NYPD. Man, something like this mass shooting, the deadliest mass shooting in New York City in 25 years, sure does bring the maggots out of the woodwork. As we talked about at length, there were 4 innocent victims of this shooter, Shane Tamura, who was mad at the NFL because he says he has CTE. That apparently was the motive. Didn't kill anyone from the NFL. But there are people out there who are happy because one of the victims, a woman named Wesley LePentner, she was an executive at Blackstone. Blackstone is a big, big company. They hold a lot of real estate. I believe she was in the real estate division, which means, according to the crazies on the left, you know, these people that are sending love letters to Luigi Mangione because he killed an innocent health insurance executive, father of 2. The people who want to free Luigi now want to celebrate Shane Tamura for killing this poor woman. Here's a tweet from Blackstone, the company she worked for. Words cannot express the devastation we feel that our beloved colleague Wesley LePentner was among those who lost their lives in the tragic incident at 345 Park Avenue. We're also deeply saddened by the loss of other innocent victims, including a brave security person and the NYPD. Wesley was brilliant, passionate, warm, generous, deeply respected within our firm. She embodied the best of Blackstone. Our prayers are with her husband, her children, her parents, her family. Yes, she had a husband. She had 2 kids. She had parents. But that didn't stop the Luigi fan club from coming out of the woodwork to celebrate. And I don't recommend this. I don't know why I did it, but I just started looking at the reaction to this, and it's sick. It's one person after another saying she deserved to die because she worked for Blackstone. I'm not sure when this happened. I don't remember this 10, 15, 20 years ago where an innocent person was gunned down and you say, oh, let me see who she worked for. Oh, that bad corporation, those bad guys, they're demons. They're awful. Here's a guy, he just adds a comment. He said, you forgot to add, she's evil, a executive for a real estate company. Another person posts a guillotine and said, maybe it's time for more. This is on Twitter, on X this morning. You are parasites and beyond cruel. Far more death is on your hands than a person who supposedly killed this other person. Others are just posting, laughter and stop buying the houses of our nation. You're stealing our children. You are demons. They respond to Blackstone. And it goes on and on. These people are sick. They're happy. I'm not sure Zoran Mandami's happy because it doesn't help his campaign, but he sure is phony. It's going to be sickening to watch him pretend to cry and pretend to be heartbroken over this atrocity in New York City. And yesterday he said, he was asked about, his lavish wedding in a compound in Uganda. Yes, this man who's concerned about income inequity in New York City doesn't give a damn about income inequity in Uganda, which is much poorer, and the inequity between rich and poor is much greater. Doesn't matter to him because he's searching, he's looking for power, and he's going to get it. He's going to win in November, and then he's going to start doing what he said he would do. He's going to defund the police to some extent. He's going to send social workers to the scenes of crimes. He's going to attempt to take away your guns. He used yesterday, before the bodies were buried, literally, to proclaim that we must ban assault weapons. This guy, they're banned in New York City. He was breaking the law. He was in a gun-free zone. He didn't care, you nitwit. Didn't stop him. Here's Zamdani, just back from his lavish vacation in Uganda, declaring that he wants to take away your constitutional rights. Go ahead.
And as New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and Americans across the country mourn this mass shooting, we are reminded that no matter how strong our gun laws are in this state, we are only as safe as the weakest laws in this nation. And so in this moment, the onus is on all of us to follow the words of Alain's brother and to put forward a vision of stronger gun laws. And I echo the call from Governor Hochul for a nationwide ban on assault rifles.
Question: what's an assault rifle? What is it? You know what this idiot would say? He'd say it's an automatic weapon. It's a machine gun. It's a rifle used for hunting, used for targeting practice, used for protection. And it's semi-automatic, like most rifles. Would you feel better, Zoran, if this scumbag gunman, this murderer, used a different weapon? Would that be would that stop him if he was forced to use a different weapon? They just don't have an answer for that. It is just infuriating to listen to this guy. This guy's barely an American. The guy who goes to Uganda like a king, like a prince, and has a lavish wedding with armed guards. They actually had devices so you couldn't use a cell phone at his wedding. You couldn't post pictures. I'm not sure who was invited to the wedding, but that's where he goes to celebrate. Uganda, not New York City. But I'll watch because, like I said, I am just in awe of the way the NYPD sends off its fallen comrades, its fallen peers, and it's going to be incredible. And they will do a great job. And I hope this guy's role is very limited. I hope he's not delivering some kind of eulogy because, God, he is just repulsive. Speaking of repulsive, we got to get to my favorite story of the day. We have lots of good news. Lots of good news. New deals. Trump is riding high. He's having a hell of a week. And this could be, even though Trump's not totally on board with it, it is so good to see people exposed. And before Nancy Pelosi leaves us, she obviously is very old and frail and not healthy. We have to understand just how corrupt this old bag is. I just looked it up. As we know, Nancy Pelosi is the greatest stock picker, the greatest stock trader in American history. I think it'd be, Warren Buffett, number one, Nancy Pelosi, number two, Paul Pelosi, number three. She is just incredible. Her net worth is almost $250 million on a salary of $180,000, which was much lower when she entered Congress 100 years ago. But they're now advancing legislation to ban stock trading from in Congress, which should have happened years ago. Obviously, they're using inside information. Obviously, she wouldn't be this successful if she didn't have inside information. She is guilty as hell, corrupt as hell, and finally, at last, it's happening. I just looked this up. In the year, just recently, how about this one? Since 2014, she has got a return on her investments in the stock market of 720%. In 2023, 65%. In 1 year, her returns were in 2024, 54%, which means in the last 2 years, she's got a return of almost 60% in 2 years. And she has just made millions, particularly during COVID. She is just such a corrupt public servant. Trump came out yesterday and said she should be investigated. Get me Trump first, and then we'll get to Nancy's reaction. And you tell me if this doesn't sound like a guilty person. She doesn't want to talk about it. Here's Trump calling out Nancy. By the way, Republicans are trying to get this act named the Pelosi Act, which is just perfect. Here's Trump.
Holly introduced legislation that would ban members of Congress from owning or trading individual stocks. It extends to the president and vice president. Are you in favor of that legislation?
Well, I like it conceptually. I don't know about it, but I like it conceptually. And, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. So in that sense, I'd like it, but I'd have to really see I study these things very carefully, and this just happened. So I'll take a look at it. But conceptually, I like it. And what I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated because she has the highest return of anybody practically in the history of Wall Street, save a few. How did that happen? It happened by she knows exactly what's going to happen, what's going to be announced. She buys stock, and then the stock goes up after the announcement's made. And she ought to be investigated.
Absolutely. There's an account on Twitter, on X, the Pelosi Tracker, which is incredible. They track every trade she makes. They can't report it for, I believe, 60 days, but when they do, she doesn't lose. And you can actually follow this account and make all the same trades she makes. Lots of people have gotten rich just doing what Nancy Pelosi does. They've made a lot of money because of this corrupt old woman who is just shameless. I mean, she's already made $200 million and she's still trading. I mean, last year, again, up 54%. She's so greedy. She could just put it in a blind trust. It would still make money. The stock market has gone up. She and her husband could still make plenty of money, but it's not enough. She is so greedy. Here is Jake Tapper asking her about it. By the way, Jake, or whoever at CNN, I got to give him credit because they told her she was going to come on and talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicare. which is really a big story. Let's come on and talk about it. And he decides to go another direction and ask about her corrupt practice of using inside information to enrich her family. And she doesn't like it. Check this out.
Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the stop the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time. I'm not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider.
Oh, yeah, sure it isn't. Jake, follow up. You made a 720% return in the last decade, lady. How do you explain that? Are you just really smart? Is Paul Pelosi just really good at this? Of course not. I mean, all you need to do is look at the numbers, look at the money she's made. It's just not possible that you could do that without insider information. And this should have been done years ago. It's about time. It's just one of those things you look at and you say, why? How is this even legal? How is this possible that this is legal? And hopefully we're bringing an end to it. All right, we got much more good. Oh, we got to get some bad news. Kamala ain't running. That's bad news. We'll tell you about that. And Trump is on the brink of a deal, according to Scott Bessent, with China. Oh, and we got to get to this new Dunks ad. Dunks is just jumping on board. They're piggybacking with American Eagle, and they came out with another great ad, which, of course, is Nazi propaganda, according to the left. We'll get to that and more. But first.
Excuse me.
If you've ever searched for your name or address on Google, it's shocking to find how many results have your personal information, and it's not by chance. Data brokers and people search sites, collect your personal information, your name, address, phone number, financial info, income, and hundreds of other records. They sell it and share it publicly without your consent. But Incogni is here to put an end to that. It hunts down these unethical sites and gets your info removed from the places that expose your private information. You don't have to email anyone, fill out forms, or jump through hoops. They handle the entire process for you. Incogni is also continually monitoring if your data is put back into these databases, requesting repeated removals. This way, it keeps them off there forever. So you get fewer spam calls, spam emails, and you get more peace of mind. And best of all, you can cancel anytime, and they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can get it completely risk-free. Right now, you get 60% off an annual plan by going to incogni.com and use code word Callahan. That's incogni, incogni.com/Callahan, and use the code word Callahan at checkout. You get 60% off and protect your data for an entire year. Bad news for podcasters everywhere, talk radio hosts, cable hosts. Kamala Harris announced yesterday that she will not run for governor of California, which is good for California, but bad for us because God knows she's unqualified, incompetent. She is what she is, the worst candidate to ever run for the United States presidency, a terrible vice president, a DEI hire who embarrassed herself and this country on a daily basis, and we were here for it. We enjoyed it. And she's leading in the polls. By the way, she's leading in the polls for California governor. She's right there at the top for the Democrat nominee in 2028, but apparently she's just not ready. And I'm guessing she's got some issues. She's like Hillary in that Trump broke her, and she must be in therapy, maybe in rehab, but she has some other issues to deal with before she jumps back into politics. And it's hilarious watching people on the left, watching Democrats and CNN attempt to pretend that she had anything to offer, that she was in any way a good, qualified candidate. But here's the announcement. I think MSNBC was very disappointed. Their girl will not be running. But here's the shocking announcement that Kamala is stepping back. Go ahead.
And we have some breaking news just around the corner here. In this upcoming California governor's race, former Vice President Kamala Harris now saying who recently, by the way, polled at the top as a top choice to succeed Governor Gavin Newsom, announcing she will not be running, saying in a statement, quote, "In recent months, I have given serious thought to asking the people of California for the privilege to serve as their governor. I love this state, its people, and its promise. It is my home for now. My leadership and public service will not be in elected office."
What do you suppose her plan B is? I mean, she going to be a professor? She going to be in the media? Will MSNBC hire her? Will CNN hire her? It is her incompetence is just so obvious. Everyone knows it. She can't do anything. When you think about it, what could she do? I mean, she'll come out with a book, but she's not going to write it. She's going to have a ghostwriter do the whole thing. It'll be full of lies. She couldn't be on TV. She couldn't read a teleprompter. She couldn't do a show, even a co-host. She couldn't be on with Scott Jennings debating him. By the way, Scott Jennings prayed last night. He prayed on CNN. It triggered the whole rest of the panel. Abby Phillip, he prayed that she'll run for president in 2028. I'm going to do the same. Please, God, let this incompetent woman, this absolute embarrassment, let her run. She came so close. She got 75 million votes. Do it again, Kamala. Try it again. Is this our montage? Just in case you forgot just how incredibly cringy this woman is. Here's just a quick compilation of some of her greatest hits. Go ahead.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right? The Caribbean nations, island nations, in the Western Hemisphere. That is where the Caribbean is. We are also in the Western Hemisphere. They are our neighbors. I am here, standing here on the northern flank, on the eastern flank, talking about what we have in terms of the eastern flank.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
Oh, unburdened.
Space is exciting.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down.
We will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work.
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should. Yes. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. It's really difficult to drink out of a paper straw when you had, if you're just like, if you don't gulp it down immediately, it starts to bend. Yes. And then, the little thing catches it. And then, so we got to kind of perfect that one a little bit more. Do you know, okay, a bit of a history lesson. Do you know that the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022? So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea.
AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's two letters. It means artificial intelligence.
That is so good. Oh, don't go away, Kamala. Once you're out of rehab and therapy, come back. Run for president. Please, God, let her run for. I forgot some of those. Man, that is incredible. I know she was a DEI hire. Biden said as much. He wanted a black woman as VP to pay back James Clyburn for getting him elected. But he couldn't have found a black woman who's not an absolute empty head half-wit, who doesn't, she thinks the cloud is up in the clouds. She actually thinks the cloud is in the clouds. Oh, God, I can't believe how she almost became president. I mean, hell, maybe she'd be president if Ryan Ruth or Thomas Crook succeeded in taking out Trump. Maybe Trump's old, but maybe he'd have a heart attack in October. That woman would be the leader of the free world. We dodged an absolute nuclear missile. I can't believe that woman was in the final two for U.S. president just 8 months ago. God, Democrats, what the hell are you thinking? What were you thinking? You got to do better in 2028, and it's not that hard. You know who else I would like to see run for president again? I really encourage Liz Warren, because Liz Warren is my senior senator, and she embarrasses, humiliates our state on a daily basis. She doesn't want to just go away, go stay in the background, make her $200 million, do her insider trading, make her deals, get rich. She's already got filthy rich while in Congress, but she's such a phony and such a liar. I mean, if you follow her closely, it is almost incredible how dishonest and how duplicitous she is. Well, the big story now is what's going to happen with Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. Trump calls him too late. He refuses to lower interest rates because he hates Trump. He did it for Biden because he was trying to get Biden elected. It's supposed to be apolitical. He, of course, is not. Plus, he's got a $3 billion renovation he's overseeing at the Fed, which is insane. But here's Liz Warren 1 year ago talking about the Fed chair. Same guy. 1 year later, only one thing changed. We had a different guy in the White House, and she sounds like she's so sincere about this, and this is what she really believes. But this is just another example of what an absolute phony and a liar she is. Here's the fake Indian, 2024 versus 2025.
You waited too long, and the best way you can show that you waited too long and that you get it and that you are becoming more responsive to where we are on interest rates is actually go ahead and do a nice big rate cut. Keep in mind that keeping those rates high, as he has done, keeping those interest rates so high, actually has contributed to our measure of inflation. The infrastructure that keeps this stock market strong, and therefore a big part of our economy strong, and therefore a big part of the world economy strong, is the idea that the big pieces move independent of the politics, that somebody is making her best decisions economically and independently. We understand that if the New York Stock Exchange, if interest rates in the United States are subject to a president who just wants to wave his magic wand, this doesn't distinguish us then from any other two-bit dictatorship around the world.
She calls for lowering the rate a year ago, makes the case, and a year later says, you can't demand they lower the rate. That'd be like a tin pot dictatorship from around the world. She does not have a sincere conviction in her body. She does not have a real, genuine principle in her. It is truly embarrassing that we send this woman every 6 years, and she'll stay there till she dies because she loves the power, loves the fame, the attention. Speaking of which, oh man, I got a lot. Before we move on, two big deals haven't gotten any attention. Trump announced a trade deal with South Korea. Again, the dominoes are falling. This deal with South Korea is better than the last deal. That's a good thing. And he also announced a deal with Brown University. This is kind of going under the radar. Made a deal with Columbia. They paid almost $250 million. Apparently, Brown's going to pay $50 million for discriminating against Jewish kids on campus. He's going to make a deal with Harvard. It's going to be bigger than Columbia. And these people have been put on notice. No longer can you discriminate against white Asian students. No longer can you allow the harassment of Jewish kids who are just trying to go to school. That is changing under Trump, and for that, we should give him a lot of credit. I love that. Brown's going to have to fork over $50 million to the federal government and stop discriminating. Stop being racist and anti-Semitic. That's it. That's all. You want to take Brown's side or Columbia's side or Harvard's side in that? Good luck. Good luck. You're supporting racist admissions policies, and you're supporting schools allowing their pro-Hamas students to harass Jewish kids. But All right, we got to move. I want to get to that Doug's ad, but we got to do this Cincinnati story again because we've talked a lot about it. And as we said Tuesday, can you imagine if the races were reversed in the vicious beating that this mob of out of control Black people, men and women, they beat the crap out of 3 middle-aged white people, 2 men and a woman. The woman clearly almost lost her life on the streets of Cincinnati. A guy, a man, young man, sucker punched her, knocked her out cold. She was bleeding, bloody. She is a mess. Bernie Moreno, the senator from Ohio, visited her, talked to her. He said no Democrat called her, no, none of the local city councilors, not the police chief, the mayor, none of them called her. He writes, Cincinnati is an amazing and spectacular city. It deserves political leadership that matches the greatness of its citizens. He rips the police chief for blaming social media, rips the prosecutor, lets the lowlifes off on $400 bail. They arrested 2. Apparently, they're going to charge 5. There was at least 15 people that took part in this beating. The victim's name is Holly. He says Holly wanted to have a nice evening out with friends. Instead, she got this. Holly gave us permission to release the photos so that others will never suffer what she did. Do you have the photo of Holly? Show the photo of Holly. They let the man who pummeled her, look at her face. I believe it's the guy on the left. He walked on $400 bail. He was already out on bail. He's a career criminal. He knocks a woman, sucker punches a woman, almost kills her, walks on $400 bail. And I looked this up just for kicks. Last month, a guy named Antonio Formasano in East Providence was arrested for making skid marks on a pride paint the rainbow on the road. They paint the rainbow on the road, and sometimes some hooligans will spin their tires on the road, like leave a skid mark. He was arrested and he was released on $2,000 bail for driving on the road and daring to make a mark on a pride flag that was painted on the street of Providence. That's your 2-tier justice system. By the way, no hate crimes yet. I'm against hate crimes. They're stupid. They're thought crimes. I mean, every crime, there's hate involved. It's just dumb. But if you're going to have hate crimes, it has to work both ways. I would say that would be the definition of a hate crime. Punching a woman, knocking her out because she's white. That's what happened. But we haven't got to the most scandalous part. You want to ask the question, what if the races were reversed, the roles were reversed? A city councilwoman this is remarkable. Here she is, city councilwoman Victoria Parks, Democrat. She posts this after this beating. We all watch the video like Sunday, Monday. It's disturbing. I don't care whether you're Democrat, Republican, white, black. It's just a gang, a mob beating the hell out of people while they're down. The man is down and they're kicking him. Everyone's just coming up and kicking him in the head. She posts, get her post up. It's incredible. She's got, look at her face, smiling face, happy lady. She says, they begged for that beatdown. I am grateful for the whole story. Grateful. This is an elected Democrat saying she's grateful that her constituents, her black constituents, beat the shit out of her white constituents in her city. It's by any definition a disgrace. It's embarrassing for the city. The whole country's talking about it. They're wondering, where the cops were. They're questioning that DEI police chief who blames social media. This woman takes it a step further and says she's grateful. Grateful. She's happy. Why? What? I mean, I think she deleted her account and blocked everyone and then deleted it, which makes sense. But you're grateful that you saw 3 middle-aged white people almost lose their lives on your city? I'm telling you, this is a big problem in this country. You talk about all the time Zamdani and Brandon Johnson, Mayor Wu, but in the inner city, they're just voting for the worst people, just the worst of the worst. I guess just because of the color of their skin. This woman obviously is a menace. She's celebrating that beating on her city, on the streets of her city. And she'll, run for re-election and probably win. And she'll use race and she'll blame, the man and white supremacy and racism for everything. And they're going to elect a woman who's happy to see people, grateful for the whole thing. Wow. You think the Cincinnati media are going to follow up and say, can you explain why you're grateful? What makes you grateful? What you're happy about, lady? To watch that woman. She'd seen those pictures. She must have. We all saw them, of this woman, Holly. There they are. There's her face. This woman just beaten within an inch of her life, and an elected city councilwoman says she's grateful. All right, we got to get to this Dunks ad. On a lighter note, we talked about the pivot, the cultural pivot, the shift, the pendulum swinging back in the culture. And it was led by American Eagle when they made that terrific ad with Sydney Sweeney. It's still triggering the left. It's a kind of a bizarre moment in time where you have a beautiful white woman make an ad trying to sell jeans, and somehow it's Nazi propaganda. Yes, that was said on Good Morning America. They called it Nazi propaganda. As this is a really good sign. American League Eagles not alone out there and having the guts to feature a white person, a really good-looking white person, if I have to say so myself. Their new spokesman is, what does he call himself? The King of Summer. This is the King of Summer in a new Dunkin' Donuts ad, and he's bragging about how attractive he is. This feels like, they turned it around pretty quick, but this feels like an answer to the deranged mob that was attacking Sydney Sweeney. Well, they got another target, the King of Summer for Dunkin' Donuts. Here he is.
Look, I didn't ask to be the King of Summer. It just kind of happened. This tan, genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer, literally. I can't help it. Every time I drink a Dunkin' Golden Hour refresher, it's like the sun just finds me. So sipping these refreshers makes me the King of Summer. Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged. You know what? Every company should do this now. We went over the numbers. I can go back to that. American Eagle, revenue increased $1.1 billion in the first quarter. Stock jumped 11%. People are running to American Eagle to get jeans after that great ad. Well, Dunkin' Donuts is doing fine, but that takes guts in corporate America today. He actually mentions genetics. He's got good genetics. He can't help it. He's a good-looking guy. Well, good for them. Good for Dunkin' Donuts. And of course, triggered the libs of TikTok who hate this. By the way, every single person we've seen, whether it was on Good Morning America or on TikTok, they're all ugly. They have one thing in common. They're all jealous. They look at Sydney Sweeney or look at the King of Summer, and they're just jealous. They're all homely, bitter, angry, miserable people. Here's one guy reacting to the King of Summer ad from Dunks.
Look, I didn't ask to be the King of Summer. It just kind of happened. This tan, genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer, literally. I can't help it.
Look at his
Every time I
concerned
drink
face.
a Dunkin' Golden Hour refresher, it's like the sun just finds me.
He's just so angry.
You, Duncan, have you not learned anything from Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle? Now, I understand these are slight messages that just skim off the top. But once again, we're making an ad where we're calling out jeans and saying, these are the perfect jeans. I've just been blessed with the perfect jeans. And it's these white people have been blessed with the perfect genes, and they have not apparently seen any of the controversy that's been going on with American Eagle or they did and they decided, hey, let's jump on that. But it seems weird because, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Dunkin' Donuts is like a Massachusetts-based business, and so it seems weird to be taking this like Aryan race type stance. But once again, what are these companies doing? And it's these dog whistles. It's this testing of the water to see how people react. How far can we go? What can we push this? And this is the second ad in almost as many weeks that is talking about perfect genes and what are the perfect genes. And it's the blonde hair, blue eyes, and it's this image of the white person having these perfect genes. And man, these are just tone deaf ads that are falling flat. And apparently did not, like I said, learn anything from the American Eagle Sydney Sweeney ad, because they decided to roll this bad boy out. What do you think? Am I off base here?
They didn't learn anything. Yes, they did, stupid. They learned a lot. They learned that it was a very effective ad. I mean, it's been a week. People are still talking about Sydney Sweeney. People still love that ad. People are thrilled to see corporate America stand up to people like you and all the other libs on TikTok and the Good Morning America college professor who said it was Nazi propaganda. 5 years ago, they would cower. They wouldn't do this. They wouldn't double down. They wouldn't give you the double middle finger and say, we'll do what we want. It's a good ad. I'm not sure it's as good as the Sydney Sweeney ad, but credit to Dunks for having the guts to just stand up to this mob. This wouldn't have happened in 2021. I want to get to a few more things here. Tom Brady anytime Tom Brady, gets himself in a little bit of trouble, we're all over it. But it was, I will say, a little bit of trouble. The other couple of weeks ago, when Scotty Scheffler won the British Open, it was a big deal. He's boring, but he's a real role model. The guy's a family man. He's a Christian. He's the only one. If you ever see the top 20 list of golfers in the world, everyone has their Twitter handle, their Instagram handle. Not Scotty Scheffler. No social media. He's just a down-to-earth guy who loves his family. They took the picture of him with his little son on the green at the end of the tournament, and Nike turned it around and made it an ad. It was wholesome. It was such a change from all the ads Nike's been making in recent years. But here's what Brady had to say after Scheffler gave the press conference. Scheffler said he would rather be a good dad than a good golfer. And that's commendable. That's admirable. As I always say, I said it in my father's eulogy, that someone once said, show me a good golfer, I'll show you a bad father. And I said, my father was a terrible golfer. Wasn't that bad, but he was a great father. That's not, I wasn't talking about a professional. Scotty Scheffler's not a weekend golfer. He's not a guy who's abandoning his children to go play Saturdays and Sundays and going to the range when he should be at his kid's Little League game. That's not what he's talking about. Scotty Scheffler's a pro. That's his job. And every time he goes out and wins, that's good for his family. That's good. That's a good, not only is he earning money, getting rich, taking care of his family, but he's a great role model for his kids who can look up to him and say, that's a man who has his priorities straight. But I think Brady took it the wrong way. He said, he posted this, Tom Brady posted, Scotty said he'd rather be a better father and husband than a good golfer. My question is, why are those mutually exclusive? Sure, they're different blocks on the pyramid, but they're part of the same pyramid. They're connected. For instance, I think part of being a great father is being a great example and doing what it takes to take care of your family. I chose to do it by playing football. Yes, you did, and you did it well, and you earned, and you took care of your family, but you ended up getting divorced. I'm not sure if your dedication to your profession was part of that, not my business. But Scotty's point is that being a good father is the most important thing to him. He's obviously managed to do both so far. He's a good father, apparently, and a great, great golfer, a great earner. Brady took a lot of heat, because Brady takes heat for anything. Jason Whitlock called him a retard for that post. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I think there's a difference, again, between a weekend golfer neglecting his kids and missing his kids' dance recital or Little League game to go play. That's being a bad father and not being, it's just so you could play golf a little better. That's disgraceful. But going out there and winning tournaments and winning millions and getting endorsements, that's your job. That's your profession. And it is indeed taking care of your family. And that's what Scheffler's doing. So I think Brady took it wrong. I will say that. You can be both. And I think Scheffler is both. I think Brady was both. I mean, Brady right now is going to dedicate himself to broadcasting. I know him. He's going to work at this. He's probably already working at it. He's not going to take it lightly. Does it take him away from his kids? I don't know. But he will take good care of his kids because he has made a lot of money, opened a lot of doors for them. So I think Brady is just taking it wrong, but whatever. It's anything he does or says is going to be scrutinized. I would not call him retarded, Jason Whitlock, at least not for that. All right, before we go, do I have time for this? I want to get to this story because, again, we see it on a daily basis. Democrats' top priority is illegal aliens. That's their number one concern, protecting illegal aliens. We saw Senator Van Hollen, the guy who went to El Salvador, have margaritas with Kilma Abrego Garcia. They had a little sit-in outside an ICE detention facility, demanding to get in there. I mean, there's real issues with their constituents in their home districts, in their states, but they don't care about American citizens. In Massachusetts, it's bad. I mean, we have a governor whose top priority is illegal aliens, is making sure they have everything, spending billions of taxpayer dollars on hotels and Ubers and translators and food and phones, and $5 million she's allocated for lawyers for illegal aliens. If you're an American, you don't get a free lawyer. I mean, especially now when public defenders are on strike. But if you're not poor, you got to pay for your lawyer. If you get busted for whatever, drunk driving, not if you're an illegal, we get you your lawyer. But here's an incredible example of the people Democrats are protecting. A gang of Maryland women, that's what they call them, are a little criminal syndicate. They're roaming around, breaking into houses. That's what they do. They watched as a family packed up for a camping trip. They left, they broke into their house, they got caught, they ran for it. Listen to this report. It's a little long, but it's a report of how this gang operates. And you've got to wait to the end to find out who these Maryland women are. It's incredible. Go ahead.
Police arrested 6 Maryland women after they were caught breaking into a home. Well, they led officers on a wild chase before they were taken into custody. Our Michael Rosenfield joining us live in Norwood. Michael, what did you find out from those court documents?
Priscilla, we learned that police chase ended right here in this parking lot. The 6 women then tried to run away. Police say they are part of an organized crime ring. A gold Chevy Traverse pulling into the backside of a Norwood shopping plaza off Route 1, followed by police. This after investigators say the 6 women in the car had just broken into a nearby home on Neponset Street. Surveillance video captures 2 of the women entering the home. According to court documents, the homeowners had just left for a camping trip, but came back because one of the kids had forgotten a doll.
Caller on 911 states 3 female parties that were in his house and asking if he knew Jesus. He then asked them to leave. They ran out of the house.
After the women fled from the house, police say they refused to stop for an officer, leading to a chase. And when they got to this parking lot, they took off on foot. One of the women going one way, the others headed for the nearby woods, some of them trying to cross the Neponset River. All were eventually taken into custody. Investigators say 2 of them even had tried to mutilate their fingerprints.
In the video, you see them all go in, and there was only one lady standing at the top of the stairs, almost like a lookout.
James Mahoney, a retired Norwood police officer, lives across the street from the home that was burglarized.
They were just walking around. They had a Bible. They all had like books in their hands, and they just walked right up to the door from the video, and then they just entered that doorway there.
It's unknown why the suspects chose this home in this neighborhood neighborhood. But police say the women live in Maryland and are part of an organized crime ring targeting multiple states.
I'm happy that nothing happened. At least it appears nothing. Nobody got hurt. I mean, that's the bottom line. Your life is your health.
Neighbors believe the women saw the family pack up and leave and may have been in the area last week as well. The home they broke into was unlocked.
They were just walking around, and I think they were just casing out houses.
So the 6 women were arraigned in court yesterday. ICE was there and took 3 of the women into custody. ICE also arrested 2 men who showed up at the courthouse to try to bail the women out.
So that's a 2-minute report about Maryland women breaking into houses in Massachusetts. And at the end of the 2-minute report, we find out ICE took them into custody. These are illegal aliens. Guys showed up to bail them out. They took them into custody. They're deporting them. And every single elected Democrat in the state that they are committing these crimes is against that. They want to keep them here. They want to protect them. They want to stop ICE. They want to do anything, spend any amount of money to keep women in this country who are mutilating their fingertips, their fingerprints, to avoid detection because they're a criminal syndicate. This is who Joe Biden let in our country, and this is who ICE is trying to get out of our country. And good luck with that, Democrats. You won't hear that. You won't hear today. You won't hear anyone in the whole state of Massachusetts say, thank God for ICE. Great job, ICE. Get them out of here. Why do we want them here? What are they contributing? They're breaking into houses, pretending to be, evangelists and walking around with Bibles while breaking into houses on like across many states. That's who we're kicking out, and that is a wonderful thing. All right, we got to wrap this up. Oh, I never got to Jasmine. I'll save Jasmine. Jasmine Crockett, and it's just Atlantic had a profile of Jasmine. We're going to get to that. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow because it is hilarious. She is just, we need Jasmine. Kamala's not running, but we still have hope. Jasmine Crockett in 2028. We will see. And any minute now, Trump is going to announce a deal with China, and Democrats will lose their mind. Can't wait. But that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
And what crime has he committed that would warrant his arrest? What crime has Governor Newsom committed?
A crime has he committed?
Yeah, to warrant his arrest, as you had
I think his
suggested earlier.
primary crime is running for governor because he's done such a bad job